Hello? What? Got cut off. Can you hear me, Kiru? You're on mute. Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just sorting out the
Again,
wires, so
maybe
I didn't want to. Now all okay?
yes, yeah. We'll start again, no? Yeah.
Just tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah. And then,
Are we live? Oh, yeah.
yes, we are live. Hi, guys. Welcome to our chat with Kiru Kishokumar, integrated nutrition specialist. And my name is Sherene. Have been in the fitness industry for the last 9 years. I'm the CEO of Breakthrough Studio India. And mom, okay, I should I say the whole list? But yeah, it's important to mention that I am 44 years old and a mom of two. So, yeah, let's start. So, today's topic is on healthy fasting and exercise for weight loss. So, myself, I've been fasting doing intermittent fasting for about good 5 to 6 years easily, and I've seen many benefits of fasting. But I know number of people out there, are skeptical about this, or have mixed knowledge about fasting. So that's why Kiru is here to clarify all our doubts. So yeah, um, Kiru, so do tell us. What I understand is some people think that you can just do a calorie restriction, and that would help weight loss. What would you like to say about that?
Okay. Can you hear me well?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, hey, thank you. Thank you for this invite. And before I jump in, to talk about the fasting, I actually think a little bit about my experience with fasting would help for the listeners. So basically, I started fasting nearly almost now a decade ago. So, and what happened was I had to go into fasting to heal my physical body, and of course mentally, physically, and emotionally as well. And when I started seeing these results, initially fasting was not something that I loved. So I always had an opinion saying, if I fast, I will faint. I will not have energy. So you have to have your breakfast. Yes, you do, but 3 meals was a must in our culture. I'm sure you might be able to relate to this when I was growing up. So that's the mindset I was. And if I skip a meal, or especially if I'm going to fast, I won't have energy. So with that, 10 years ago, when I was introduced to fasting, it's actually for the spiritual purpose by my spiritual father, Kirby Dinarol. And then it was a beginning of my journey in the fasting lifestyle. And the moment I started experiencing the goodness, how my body shifted within few days, when I say few days, like 2 days, my gut started settling in, which I was having a trouble for like 6 years. So that's when I started furthering my study and going into learning and digging into the science and research of fasting. And now I lead a fasting lifestyle and I teach people. Fundamental question is, everybody, when it comes to weight loss, the first, I'm sure you might be, you will hear this all the time in your field as well. Everybody says, let me quickly shrink my calories. I'm going on a diet, shrinking my calories, and boom, you see results. You get into that, dress you want to wear, and that's fine. And then you start gaining it all back or even more. So when people approach fasting, although there's ample of information out there, people still think fasting is a diet. So I would like to start with rephrasing that. Fasting is not a diet. Fasting is a lifestyle, and it's where, like, it's a restricted, your time restricted eating pattern. So I like to say eating first while we talk about fasting, because that's exactly what we're doing. We are restricting the time that you eat in a 24-hour clock, and then extending the time you don't eat, exactly how we are meant to be functioning.
Yes.
So this is the fundamental knowledge. And with that, so it's a lifestyle. So now what happens when you go into calorie restriction for a quick fix? My total belief is, number one, there's no quick fix when you want to achieve health for long term. Number two, you got to acknowledge the intelligence within yourself, which the miracles and the miraculous healing powers that you're born with. For that, allow the body's intelligence to function and come out of its way. So when you're restricting a diet eating pattern, that means restricting your calories, what you're doing is, say, for example, you're somebody eating 500 calories every single day. And one day you decide, okay, I'm going to restrict my calories. I'm going on a diet plan. So you shrink it to 100, for say. So what's going to happen is, the body, you will immediately see a shift and you will lose weight and it may look good. But energy wise, you will start slowly coming down in your energy. And here's the catch: your brain and your intelligence is there always to protect you, not to allow you to starve and die. So if you are burning, as a fitness expert, you will know, if you're burning 700 calories and you're eating only 500 calories, obviously your body's intelligence is going to wake up and say, hey, this woman was giving me 700 and above, and I was jolly well happy with that. Now she's shrinking it. Now if I let her do that, she's going to starve to death. So let me adjust my metabolism. There's a thermostat, exactly how you have in your home, like, the AC thermostat. So what it does is it goes down and shift it to the 500 calories metabolism, so that you don't burn more than what you consume for a survival mode, which is a good thing. But what happens is, when you hit that part, you're doing the same diet, you're beating yourself at the gym, but your weight loss becomes a plateau. You get stuck and you're like, oh my god, why is it not working anymore? This is because your body's intelligence is protecting you and your metabolism is adjusted according to your calories. And then you get into the whole scenario of, thinking you're a failure, you'll get fed up of the whole thing, and you start eating again. Because you're restricting from all your favorite food, obviously you have the temptation and you become more hungrier than normal. When it comes to fasting, you're restricting the time that you eat and you fast the rest of the time. Exactly how our body is supposed to function, like our ancestors did,
Yes.
right? So, what's happening when you do that? You're allowing your intelligence to work on itself. So, according to studies, different time periods of fasting, like for starting from 13 hours to up to 36, 72 hours, there have been amazing benefits in the body. And there we have ample of resources on this. And you and I are walking examples. We have seen that, right? So, literally what you're doing is you're restricting the time, and also you got to have the knowledge on how to feed yourself, because when you don't eat during the fasting window, you're healing your body, and
Yeah.
you do the right eating pattern, you can still continue this healing. So with this, and I must say here, not all fasting are like, all the styles cannot be applied in once, and not everybody can do the same structure because we all are different. Bio individuality applies. Nevertheless, fasting, if it's done in the right way, it's an amazing tool, free of charge, and it's a beautiful lifestyle. I hope I
Yeah.
answered you that question.
Yeah. And personally, I find it easier, like cravings wise, when you do a restricted, eating, compared to going on a calorie deficit. So it's because of the insulin in the body, right? You're not triggering the insulin all the time. And I suppose because of, uh, which helps in fat burning and also your cravings, right?
Yeah, yeah. So what happens with the craving is when you restrict yourself in the calories and you're not focusing on the quality of the food. For example, you're restricting, you're just shrinking the amount, right? And then you're still on your inflammatory oils. You're still having refined carbs and refined sugars and processed food. What happens is restricting calories doesn't allow your body first is to shift from sugar burning system to fat burning. I must give you a little bit of understanding on that. So we have
Yeah.
two energy systems, as you said. One is sugar burning and the other one is fat burning. So every time we eat, we are in this sugar burning system. So
Yeah.
every time we ate excess, body stores it for future. So this is
Yeah.
why when my clients comes and says, "Oh my God, I'm going to starve to death. You're asking me to fast for 2 days, water fast," and I say, "No, you won't, because your body has enough storage of fat. You're just allowing it to go and use that." So what's happening is when we are restricting our calories only, we are still in this sugar burning system.
Yeah.
So we don't give a chance to the body to go and search on that stored fat.
Yeah.
So when that happens, every time you eat, your sugar insulin spikes.
Yeah.
As fast as it goes, it drops
Yeah.
down as well. This is
Yeah.
one of the main reason, as you said, to feel
Yeah.
hungry. But in the
Yeah.
other hand, when your body is going into fat zone, when it's running on fat as a fuel, one of the good part is you're going to not feel that hunger, often cravings. When you say cravings, you have to address your microbiome as well as mineral deficiencies. There's so many things, but in general,
Yeah.
hunger pranks will go down when you're fasting and breaking your fast with good fat. And because as you fast for a long period, because there's always threshold. For a beginner, I always say that when you reach around 12 to 13 hours, your brain is like, "Oh, I'm hungry, I'm going to die," I give you headache, and all these dramas are coming up. But if you skip that threshold, I'm sure you can relate to this. We all
Yeah.
went through that. Then the body starts burning fat and you start getting ketosis.
Right.
Ketosis is once the ketones are in your blood, your hunger pranks goes down. So you feel, "Oh, I'm okay. I don't feel hungry anymore." And you're
Yeah.
still continuing. Especially, I always admire the way you work out when in the fasted state. You're still having the energy. Where is it coming from? It's from the ketones, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best deal.
I'm just generally more energetic every time I work out, and it's always fasted. But it goes hand in hand. Like, some people think you got to exercise so much, and then, and then eat little, but it goes hand in hand in the sense, you have to combine it with intermittent fasting, the correct way of eating, when you do break the fast, to see fat loss benefits. So there is now talk about dry fasting versus water fasting. What is the difference, and is one more effective than the other for weight loss? If you could tell
Okay,
us.
dry fasting is an amazing opportunity for us to tap into our intelligence faster, I would say. Here's the thing, both are different tools and they have different features. My way of approaching fasting as a lifestyle is I like to cycle different types of fasting because our body is so complex that we are not meant to be in a particular style of food eating pattern or even fasting pattern. For the fact that very first factor is because we have more than 5,000 species, gut microbiome, and we all these depend on the resources that we put in, right? So when it comes to dry fasting, with Ramadan and all these things, there's ample of research giving us evidence that dry fasting is amazing because you're giving your body opportunity, withdrawing it from water as well as withdrawing it from food for a set
Yeah,
period.
yeah,
And so with that, you certainly you will lose weight. And
yeah,
research shows that the skin changes because your intelligence is going into repairing itself, what we call autophagy. Now, when you're on a water fast, according to the science and research, when you fast anything above 17 hours onwards, you
yeah,
kick into autophagy, a time where your intelligence, like you, wakes up and says, "Oh my God, now I don't. She's not giving me food. 17 hours gone. I need food." So what it does is it goes into a self-repair mode where it goes and eats up all the unwanted cells, dead cells. It's kind of like a cleanup
yeah,
within. And with that, you get a energy as well. So that's autophagy. In dry fast, that happens as well. Along with that, your skin is changing. And also, dry fast, when you do withdraw yourself from water, your body is going to burn more fat and you will literally be able to uh, have a lot of BDNF.
yeah,
Now, BDNF is an amazing component which will certainly, first of all, for the brain, it gives you that boost. So your happy hormones are coming out,
yeah,
and your mental clarity is better, and also you can focus better. So the beauty of doing dry fast with a spiritual alignment like Ramadan and what you and I did early last month, it's amazing because you're pulling out from water and food and allowing this intelligence to heal itself, and your happy hormones, your brain is getting strengthened and all these things, as well as your intention is focused on spiritualism. So your this is the zone where you're kind of praying and being a more care, showing more love and attention to people, being an empath, and all these things beautifully synchronize with your mind as mental health as well as your physical health as well. So water fast, on the other hand, is amazing as well. We have enough studies on that. If somebody wants to lose weight, I will always, for a beginner, I will always say go for intermittent fasting, gradually build the fasting muscle. And when you do water fast, for example, anything above 17 hours, as I said, you're going to autophagy. So that means you're healing your body, you're losing weight, allowing your body to go and use those fat, especially the fat around your organ, visceral fat. That happens even when you start doing 14-hour fast. There's a science in Cell Metabolism, it was released. And it brings down your cholesterol and all those things. Plus, when you go into 24-hour fast, you're healing your gut. And then you further to 36 hours, you are going into that stored fat, that fat zone that, especially your belly area, visceral fat, that stubborn fat you can't tap into. And then further that 3-day water fast is amazing to boost your immune system. If you're on cancer
Yeah.
treatment, that's amazing. Musculoskeletal injury, amazing. So we do have so much of goodness from water fast as well. So I wouldn't say do this is better than this. Those
Yeah.
both have its own benefits. Here, what we need to do, learn about it and apply it according to our body and our system.
Yeah.
So recently, what I'm doing is with what I learned. You were in the forum as well, where we did 5 DP with Kirby Dinaro, and where we did intermittent dry fast.
That's right.
So that was amazing because it's an intermittent dry fast. That means you're doing a dry fast for 15 to maximum 20 hours. We did it only for 3 days. And that
Right.
gives you a quick shift.
Yes, that's right.
But saying that, we were careful on how we feed ourselves, isn't it? And
Yeah.
also how we bring water. And here's something very important. Dry fast, you need to make sure that you're hydrating yourself properly, because
That's right.
all these toxins come up level. And when you break your fast and during your eating window, if you're not hydrating well, these can
Yes.
again get accumulated in your brain and your organs, and skin rashes and all these things come. So it's a must that you flush it out properly.
Mm. Okay. That's nice to hear. Yeah, I personally, when I did dry fasting, like we're saying, I was tending to lose more body fat, uh, when compared to water fasts. But yeah, for everyone, it's different, and there's a place like you need to start at, like you were saying. And if your lifestyle allows, like I couldn't do more than 13-hour dry fast because I had to do my workout and go about my day. So for me, like I've not done a 24-hour water fast even for a long time, just because it just needs your body to kind of slow down, which I hardly do, and then to be able to focus on it. So I guess if people do have the time for that kind of thing, and you pair it with a spiritual time like this, either a water or dry fast, you can really reap the benefits of. Yeah. So another important thing is, well and good, fasting is awesome, but when you break the fast, the importance of gut health you'd like to move on to. What should you feed? Let's take Ramzan for example. In the morning, what do you think they should be having if they're trying to lose weight? And then evening, when they do have their iftar, what are they supposed to have? Because many of our clients tend to gain weight during
Yeah.
fasting time. So if you could just mention what they could do, that'll be great.
Yeah, so this is amazing question because I get asked all the time, and this is something that, in fact, I do get a lot of signs up for coaching after Ramadan, because a lot of people end up having gut issues, as well as they say they started gaining weight during the
Right.
Ramadan time. They lost it, but they started gaining weight. You know, I'm a true believer that every spiritual fast in every culture that has been placed is because the goodness of it, and there's so much you can benefit out of it. For me, now with the culture, we can not only Ramadan, anything, the Western culture, the fast food and getting food in a press of a button culture has really spoiled us and
Hmm.
took us away from our, uh, the authenticness and going back to the basics.
Yeah.
To answer your question, what I've seen in my experience from my previous clients is, the problem is we tend to go and break fast with the wrong type of food,
Yeah.
because fasting is amazing. Everybody is experiencing that goodness. There's no doubt about it for that 16, 15 hours, right? Now, how you break your fast is very important.
Hmm.
Although when you break your fast is important, as well as how you break your fast is important.
Yeah.
And then what do you feed your help self with is the other question.
Yeah.
So here's something fundamental. Take off your baddies. Take off the baddies from the list. Baddies, when I say baddies, inflammatory oils. These are your canola oils, vegetable oil, sunflower oils, soy oil, what you find in the supermarket, the normal counter, the
Yeah.
inflammatory oils. And when you take that out, then you go and take out the refined sugar and refined carbs.
Yeah.
I know when I say this, my clients say, come on, it's Ramadan celebration, iftar, and all these things. I'm going to come there. I'm going to come there. So then the last one is synthetic and processed food.
Yeah.
Why am I saying this? Because your body has already got into this autophagy cleanup and detox and amazing intelligence, and your stem cells are coming out from your gut, you're healing your gut. All the beautiful things are happening. Now you go and dump with the wrong type of low quality food, you're disturbing the gut.
Yeah.
On the other hand, what you need to focus on is go into good fat. So good fat is like avocado oil, early harvest extra virgin olive oil, and then some seeds, nuts, grass-fed organic butter, grass-fed
Yeah.
ghee. All these, and even a good quality cold pressed seed oils are good.
Yeah.
Now, when I say seed oil, it's not. I'm not talking about the commercial seed oils.
Yeah.
Cold pressed, good seed oil. So these are amazing to break your fast. So what I'm saying is, when we are doing this kind of practices for a period, try and break the fast with these kind of food. So, for example, if you want to lose weight and maintain it during this awesome time, my go-to would be break it with fat, good fat, what I said. Even so, an example would be, I like when I break my fast, I just take a half an avocado, put a little bit of MCT oil or early harvest extra virgin, and a little bit of butter or good grass-fed one, a little bit, right? And I just eat it, and then I can continue for a couple of hours before I have my meal. And when you practice this often, you
Yeah.
can continue. Your body will be in ketosis. So that's
Yeah.
what. Yeah, go ahead. You're going to
No,
ask something.
especially like people during Ramadan, they break the fast. I think for about 4 hours, they don't have a very long eating window as well. So they got to get in the right calories, but in that small, like a 4 hour eating window. Some of them, I think, go out to pray and all that, but then they need to be in bed again, uh, you know, catch on their sleep
See,
till the fall.
when I say instead of getting the calories, instead of
Mm.
worrying about the calories, because I can say that because as a I practice this in my lifestyle, and I do this even 19 hours, and when we do 24 hours, 26 hours, of course you don't have a eating window. Obviously, your window is shrinking. But when you eat, it's not about calories; it's about the macros.
Mm.
So when you ideally a Ramadan would be like break a sip of water would be the breaking one, and then I know in cultures they have in some cultures they have good porridge with
Yeah.
chicken, meat, and protein. So that's amazing. And where we need to just focus is whatever you eat during that window, that's fine, but just try to avoid the nasties.
Right.
And then to coming to the first question you asked me about gut, how
Yeah.
to take care of the gut. Whatever you eat, try and incorporate the three P's because we need to nurture the gut pets because during the fasting time, the stem cells, a new lining is formed. So your gut is like so fresh and there's new
Yeah.
bacteria coming in during the fasting time. So that's why they have like, yogurt, kefir, Laban, all these things. And unfortunately, now the flavored yogurts have added sugar. So I always encourage people to go and have kefir. So that's
Yeah.
probiotic as well as protein.
Yeah.
And then you can have a good bowl of salad, throwing in all these legumes and good carbs and everything. And also, if you're going for iftar out and you have to have a piece of dessert, that's fine. But at least start, break your fast at home or do something and have a good bowl of salad, so you've got some good in. And if you eat a piece of sweet with sugar, yeah, that you don't need to be guilty. I can give you a tip on that. If anybody has to do that and you're worried about gaining sugar hike and the next day feeling hungry during the fasting and all these things, is you can dilute organic apple cider vinegar, a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in a glass of water, and either you drink it before you have this dessert or after you have the dessert and you start going into your fasting. That will help you. There's research. If you are, they have done this, and I've been telling this tip to a lot of my clients, and it works. So the sugar doesn't spike during your fasting, so you don't feel hungry. So you still enjoy, but the majority of your eating window, try to be clean.
Yeah. So the three P's again to recap is
Probiotic food, polyphenols food, prebiotic food. So these are the three P's to concentrate in consciously. I would say it should be your lifestyle almost every day. So probiotic food, I'll give you some example. This is like fermented food, kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, and kombucha and temp. And I'm going to show something that we eat. I'm sure you might remember this, what we call in our language, palanjoru, where we do this fermented rice. So that's good as well. And even idli, dosa, that's good as well, in a moderate level, because if you're worried about the carbs a lot. Prebiotic foods, now that you're bringing in all these probiotic good bacteria, prebiotic foods are fiber rich food. So all your veggies and greens, your seeds, chia seeds, as well as like legumes, and those are prebiotic. And then polyphenols are like olives, your rococo, and again, even berries. All those are good as polyphenols. So I've got a whole list. I mean, you can check it out in my Instagram as well. So these are the three main P's I would always say incorporate while you're eating.
okay. One of the questions which you asked was like probiotics. Is there a particular time that you need to take probiotics, like in general? Uh,
You mean the food or the
yeah.
supplement? Okay, food.
Supplement is what he had asked, but I
Okay.
myself, I mean, I'm just giving. I've tried like protein shakes with probiotics, but it does something to my gut, so I'm not mixing it up.
Okay, so every individual is different, right?
Yeah.
And also not all probiotics are equal. So when it comes
Mm.
to supplement, I totally believe you got to look at the source, right? And so here is something that I would suggest. If you're fasting, it's always good to take probiotic after you break your fast, or you can even break your fast with probiotic depending on how your gut tolerates. So for example, when I started training myself to do longer fast, I couldn't immediately have any fermented veggies, for example sauerkraut or kimchi. My stomach was not happy with that. But so then I something that I was able to handle was kefir.
Okay.
So so kefir with a little bit of early harvest uh, olive oil and then go into sauerkraut was okay for me. So it totally depends. But what I recommend is during your eating window, make sure that there's always one serving of some sort of probiotics and keep changing the source. If it is the supplement, again, like you said, you were trying with the protein. Now, with my husband, he takes natural protein with probiotics. When it comes to natural proteins, because those are fibrous, complex proteins, and it's always we have found in our experience and also in a couple of our clients, it's helpful to break down when you have a a concentrated complex protein in your eating window. So, but my suggestion is take your probiotic as soon as you break your fast or during the eating window, depending on how your stomach is acting.
Yeah. Okay. And doing the three P's also helps in acidity issues. If there's acidity, there's a sign, especially like, during fasting, breaking after you break the fast, you're not eating the right things, right? Because it,
Acidity, acid reflux, and heartburning is one of the major causes. A lot of people, I mean, a lot of symptoms that a lot of people experience during the fasting time. This is because it could be so fundamental. Is one, your when you're fasting, the new intestinal lines are formed. So it's like an infant. And if you're putting something complex, like one of the food that I mentioned to avoid, you're overdosing your digestive system. And that's one. And then the other thing is when you are in general, when you don't have enough enzymes, that's another issue.
right,
And so technically people have, when you introduce or bad oils immediately, so for example, you break your fast, you have a sip of water, and then you go and have a good chunky burger with some fried chips, then
yeah,
it's going to be hard. Or any deep fried food which have been cooked in inflammatory oils is going to
yeah,
be a burden on it. So to avoid that symptom experience, I always say introduce food, even though you may have been fasting for years. When you're going into longer fast, introduce food step by step, slowly, be gentle, as if you're feeding an infant,
yeah,
and then go to the complex. So start, that's why I always encourage people to start with avocado, nut butter, a
yeah,
little bit. People have the habit of having a date. That's good. Some are worried about having a date will shoot up their sugar. I would say again, bio individuality. I used to have that fear, but now we've been checking before and after having a date with tea. My blood sugar doesn't spike anymore.
mm,
So it's training, and also it's to do with your gut bacteria. So when you
yeah,
have the right set of army, you're
yeah,
feeding these and you're being gentle introducing your food, and keep the complex protein last.
right,
So
right.
then you won't have the problem in acidity.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, do you recommend exercise? I mean, exercise that during fasting for fat loss? Yeah,
Certainly, I should be asking that question to you.
yeah.
Listen,
I was hoping you
um,
would, because I feel like most of the time when you're doing these fasts, slowing down of the metabolism, happens. So also you feel very lethargic. So yeah, I personally, love to do this. I've When I'm on a dry fast, I would just break it and and then do the workout. But yeah, it helps in slow down of metabolism, just keeping your happy hormones in check, because there's no food going in, right? So the high that you can get from is your workout. So yeah, for these reasons, otherwise there is a slowing down of fat loss, I feel. Mm,
I'm a fan of movement.
yeah,
To be frank, if you give me a choice, as I said to you the other day, if you give me a choice of a period of time, you do want to meditate or walk into nature or go into hit training, I will always choose the first one.
yeah, yeah,
But that doesn't mean that I don't work out. I do have a trainer, and because I'm all about balance,
yeah,
because yeah, and with studies and research, it is said when you are fasting, especially not long fast, I don't encourage people to work out when you're on a longer water fast. When I say longer, it's like 24 hours and above, a vigorous workout where you really raise your heat training, right? But otherwise, a movement while in a fasted state, depending on, again, it depends, you have to customize according, if you're a woman, you have to customize according to your cycle. I'm a fan of that. You got to make sure that it's aligned. But in general, if even with Ramadan, when I am on dry fast, I go for a walk, and it's like
Yeah.
3 to 5 kilometers max. And I go for a walk before breaking my fast.
Yes.
One, as you said, fasting is raising your cortisol.
Yeah.
There's you're giving yourself a little bit of a stress as well. It's a good type of stress, as well as exercise is also a form of stress. But
Yes.
what happens is when you uh, exceed that threshold, when
Mm.
you're moving, as you said, yes, happy hormones are coming, BDNF is coming, and your body, you're inducing your body to go and feed on those fat that has never been touched, because
Mm.
you, so, but you must understand how to do it, because don't go and do a vigorous workout while you're on a longer fast, as you said. Yes, certainly it'll keep up your metabolism for sure, as you said. And I love the fact that you said, I break my fast and I go and work out. That works as well.
Yeah.
That truly works, because especially I, this is one of the tip I always share. If you had a portion of meal, and if you feel your metabolism is going down, or you don't want that food to be stored as fat, go and do a workout. So
Yeah.
like how you said, yes, break your fast, go and do a workout, and then maybe come and load yourself with good lean protein. Quality protein will allow your body to build muscles, so you're not
Right.
losing muscle.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly work, exercise.
Yeah. So there are some questions coming up, but some are not quite in line with the topic. So perhaps if I know them, I will answer them a bit later. Is there a particular time for black coffee? Uh, I'm assuming during Ramzan time. Should you have black coffee? Um, do you have anything to say about that, Kiru? Like in the
During the
morning?
eating window, is that what you're
Yeah.
asking? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see, black coffee is amazing. Yeah, because it's going to help. It will certainly help you go into the, burning fat mode, and it gives it's there are goodness in black coffee. Um, and having a black coffee during your like when you're, of course, when you're doing Ramadan fasting, dry fasting, we don't consume any, like anything, right? So that's but in your water fast, we do allow black coffee, because there are science which says that your body can burn more fat, as well as it'll give you a little bit of a boost. And then I always say, you tease your brain that you're having something.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, it's a, because it does give you that boost in a moderate level, is what I like to say. And
Yeah.
I would always encourage people to go for a good quality mold free coffee.
That's right.
So
Organic.
my preference is that, because that's important. Because remember, when I'm talking about water fasting period, not Ramadan, right? But otherwise, in general, I always have organic
Yeah.
coffee. So and it's fresh, and it's not sitting there for a long time. So mold free is important. If not, you're going back into the toxic part, cellular toxicity.
Right.
Amazing to have it. Personally, I my stomach had become a little bit sensitive on this, so I can't handle black coffee during my fasting window. So
Right.
I prefer water and green tea, but not coffee. But I do break my fast with, coffee with good fat.
Nice. So another question which has come up is I'm not able to control my cravings, so not able to do intermittent fasting. Mm,
Okay, Sunita.
yes.
Yeah, so Sunita, one couple of things I would suggest you to think of. Cravings is fundamentally one. You need to see what you're feeding yourself with during the eating window, as well as and also, are you drinking enough water? because sometimes we tend to misinterpret thirst and cravings. And also cravings, having too much of cravings could also be, especially is also deficiency of some minerals. So like for example, if you're deficient in magnesium, why does it come up when you're fasting for a long time? Is when you're fasting, you're healing yourself, and all this deficiency comes up as well. And most importantly, cravings is to do also with your bad bacteria and imbalance in your gut microbiome. So my suggestion is, don't stop intermittent fasting. If you're doing it, continue, but feed, first of all, have your big why visible. Write it and say, why am I doing this lifestyle? You need to be very clear, because if the why is not big enough, when your brain talks you out, you will skip out. But cravings is not something abnormal. You will face it. So ask yourself, what am I craving for? And also, if you're trying to do fasting on the wrong time of your cycle, for example, if it's 7 to 10 days before your periods, you might crave for chocolates because we want magnesium at that time, and that's normal. Now we can't submerge that. But if it's on a normal general time, if you can break your fast with fat and lean into clean eating, gradually the craving will go down.
Yeah. And it's a number of factors when it's cravings and kind of, stress, and have you slept enough? All of these things matter. So every day is different. So you need to ask yourself, why am I really craving this right now? Am I closer to my period? Did I get enough of sleep? Or am I stressed? So you got to, even if it's a stressful day, like she was saying, I think Kiru gave a good tip. If you're just not able to go for protein, go for a good fat, then train your body. The second day will be easier than the first day. Second day, you will be able to push a little longer with IF. Yeah, so it's all these factors. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you said about the sleep. I totally forgot to mention that sleep, yes, for must, as you said. And yes, when you're really stressed, of course you're craving. If you have attended to all what I said, and then you're still craving, and you might, as she said, ask yourself, what is my trigger? Am I stressed? Because it's the brain pattern, because you have been used to, your brain is using that memory. What do we do when we are in a bad mood? Since childhood, we always go for a dopamine, and that's chocolates, that's ice cream. So when stress comes, even when we are loaded with work, we just love to, oh, for me it used to be coffee until I got my body used to say coffee didn't give me any dopamine anymore. But what I'm saying is that memory pops up and say, hey, you're stressed, and you're not you're withdrawing yourself from all this dopamine rush. At least one chocolate. That kind of memory, these are challenges that will come up because that's how your brain is used to your programming. So in that case, I always say, okay, acknowledge it, go and have a dark chocolate with almost zero sugar, or a little bit of sugar. Indulge your craving, feed it, because sometimes when you have firmicutes, for example, which is a type of bacteria, then bacteroidetes, you will start craving for bad sugar and junk food.
Yeah.
Even though you're doing all these things and you're like, oh my God, I can't stop this craving, that could be your imbalance in gut. So acknowledge those guys. And then, as she said, keep up.
Yeah.
It's easy when you are in a community. So,
Choose the
yeah.
lesser evil. But the smarter thing to do with would be to still keep choosing the good fat and protein. And okay, one last question, because time is, I don't want to take too much of Kiru's time. Some people feel dizzy and weak after 14 hours of water fast. Why is that? Is the question.
Okay. Dizzy. Okay. That's Sidra, right? So dizziness is one. Um, if you're doing it for the first time, what happens is, remember I spoke about sugar burning system, right? So if you have been eating all day and all of a sudden you decided, okay, I'm going to start fasting, and you didn't prepare yourself for this. So that means there is a part where I always say, start preparing your body. Don't jump into fast immediately. Nevertheless, every one of us are fasting when we sleep. Only exceptions would be people who wake up in the middle of the night with craving and
Yeah,
go and sneak in something.
yeah.
Otherwise, 8 hours minimum, we are fasting, period. So, from 8 hours to the rest is my suggestion would be first go with prep mode. That is, avoid all the bad days first. Why is because you're training your metabolism, you're training your cellular level to come out of those bad, nasty food before you fast. Okay, so let's say 3 or 4 days. That's the prep time where you're taking off all the junks and all these things, bad oils and everything, and then you start with 12 hours. So this feeling this weak. When you say weak, if you feel dizzy and if you feel you can't lift yourself up from the couch, that means your sugar is dropping fast. So my suggestion is always try and get a glucose keto mojo is something that I always recommend, but there's ample out there. Test your blood sugar and see whether it's beyond the, if it's like if it's less than 50, that means you need to break your fast, because what happens is, it happens when you have, that's a sign that your body had been depending on sugar, and it spiked up and then it came down very fast. So by the time you hit 13 hours, you're cranky, you feel tired and all those things is one. So how do you overcome that? If it hasn't shot really low to the danger zone, then it's a matter of you training yourself. That means make sure you're drinking enough water. Dehydration could cause that. And second, take off all the baddies in practice during and before. And third, break your fast with good fat. And gradually do that, because gradually good fat, and include 60% of your eating food should come from good fat. Even when you're eating in a portion of meat as well as some salads, there should be some good fats. So the more you to go towards, when I say 60%, it's quite a lot. But when you do that, gradually you will be able to stabilize. So it's a matter of stabilizing your sugar, blood sugar level.
Would some adding some pink salt help at this time?
Pink salt, yes, because adding in some minerals would help. But 13 hours,
14 hours.
13 to 14 hours, my most, I would say it's a struggle of shifting the fuel from sugar, because
Yeah.
that's where you feel cranky. I mean, I can, by the symptoms, I can say, oh, you're a sugar guy. You're, because you can see it. So, but certainly add some minerals, pinch of salt, but make sure you're hydrating enough, because you need to detox as well.
All right. Thank you so much, Kiru. I hope, yes, I'm sure audience will, if they want to look back at our recording, they can and find this information really useful. I'll put in Kiru's Instagram profile. You can check her out there. And yeah, so I mean, I just like to conclude by saying that, do incorporate the fasting into your lifestyle. It is anti-aging, increases, um, it produces new stem cells, a lot of healing happens. And yeah, so do try it if you've never tried it before. And if you already are doing, water fasts, well and good, but educate yourself, by attending these kind of, forums, so that you know better. So you more you know, you can, perfect your fasting lifestyle. Thank you so much, Kiru. I'll just drop in Kiru's handle. uh,
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you for the time and thank you all of you who joined. I hope I have been some
Thank you
sort
so
of
much.
help. And yes, if anybody wants to, if ask any questions, feel free to reach one of us. I'm always attending to the Instagram, and I do free fasting challenge almost every other month or every month. So keep an eye and come and join. It's free. It's for everyone. My aim is to teach whatever I know and the new science and everything. So that might be something that you guys might be interested. As she said, yeah, knowledge is
Yeah,
important, especially women. We need to understand how to work with our cycle. I
there's
learned
so
it
much
the
to
hard
talk.
way. Yeah,
Yeah.
so so make sure that fasting is amazing. I will always stand by it, and say fasting is one of the easiest to achieve health if it's
Right.
done properly. Thank you,
Thank you.
Shay. Thanks a lot
Thank
for
you
your
so
time.
much for your time. Have a good day, guys. Have a good day.
Take care. Bye bye.